Hey, graphic art students, welcome back. I hope you had a fun weekend. I spent my weekend adding some fun color to my hair. Do you like it? I hope you had some fun this weekend too. So today we're going to be learning how to use the pen tool. So I've got my Photopea already open because I'm just going to show you a few things the pen tool does before we get into our tutorial. So the pen tool is located on your toolbar right down here underneath the text button. To select that, you're just going to click it. And you should go ahead and be able to start using it. And I'll show you how it works. So with the pen tool, you can click that little blue dot to another dot. If you keep going around, you can create a shape by connecting these dots. To close your shape, you're going to just click on the first dot that you created, and that makes a closed shape. And this is what the pen tool does. It creates a path and then fills that path with color or whatever you want depending on the settings you choose. So I've made this square with my pen tool. And what I'm going to do now is show you some of the different settings that you can use to change what your pen tool does. So up here in this corner are some of the same settings that you may have remembered when using the shape tool, because using the pen tool is very similar to using the shape tool. You're just creating your own custom shape with this tool. So to change how the pen tool shape that we just created looks, we just change the settings. So we're going to keep it on shape right now, and I'm going to select fill. You'll notice that the shape I created is already red, and that is because the fill color is currently set to red. But if you click on this button and open your window, you can change the inside color of the shape that you create by clicking on any of these buttons. You can create an empty box with just these lines as your perimeter, which will disappear if you don't click on the same layer. You can click the color shape to go back to color red, or you can even click right here to choose a custom color. And if you look at your preview, you'll see that the color in the shape that I just drew changes depending on what color I click. You can also choose to add a gradient, which you can also customize. And you can choose a pattern. There are different patterns that are already loaded into this program. You can choose different patterns by clicking this little button right here and choosing from the different patterns that are already available. So this is a way to allow you to create custom shapes. Another feature of the pen tool is that you can create nice smooth curves. So if you click once and then click, but hold the click down and then drag your cursor, you'll see that it creates a curved line. When you let go and then click again, you can create a custom shape with curved lines. And you close it off the same way. So again, you can go and customize how that looks by changing the color, playing with gradients or patterns. So now we're going to learn how to use the pen tool. It's a little difficult, a little tricky, and I will tell you that I'm using a mouse, and that makes this project a lot easier. If you're not using a mouse, it's still possible. It's not impossible to do without a mouse. It's just a little bit more difficult and may require a little bit more patience, so just keep that in mind. So we're going to take a look at your assignment posted in Google Classroom. Make sure you're reading all of the instructions on this assignment first before you continue with this video tutorial, because some things may not make sense if you haven't read the instructions first. So we're looking at your pen tool practice assignment. The instructions are written right here, but only some of the instructions are written here because the rest is here in this video, and I didn't want to make it too long or too confusing. What you want to look at first is the example that I posted, which has my name with the name of the file. So we're going to be tracing the Batman logo and changing it to a different color. The Batman logo that I would like you guys to use to trace is loaded right here. And to click it, to access it, you are going to right click and hit copy image. And then you're just going to click off of that picture to get back to your screen for your assignment. And you're then going to open Photopea. You're going to create a new project. You're going to name this Your Name Batman. And to choose the size of this file, you actually don't have to choose it at all. By right-clicking Copy Image on that picture of the Batman logo, you have already determined what size document you are going to be putting onto this document. So that's already right here. So you're just going to go ahead and hit Create. And this document is the same size as that picture that we just clicked on. So what we can do right now, because we clicked on that Batman picture and clicked Copy Image, we can now go to Edit and Paste. And now our Batman tracing layer is right there on our document. All right, you can see that it's on its own layer right here. It says Layer 1, and when I click the little eyeball, it turns that Batman picture on and off. This is the easiest way to add any picture or image from the internet to your Photopea document. You can do this with any picture that allows you to right-click and copy the image. The next step is to learn how to use the pen tool. And to do that, I actually have a really good YouTube video tutorial that I would be showing you guys in class right now. But since we're not in class, I'm going to show it to you here. To get your Batman trace layer ready to go before we start the tutorial video, this is the settings that you'll need to make sure that you have clicked on before you start watching the video. The first thing you're going to look at is that you've clicked on your pen tool. You're going to make sure that your fill is empty with the box with the red X through it. You're going to make sure that your stroke is color, and you're going to want the color red. It's just easiest to see that way. And you're going to change your stroke width to 10 points. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to turn the opacity on the layer with your Batman symbol on it right here down to 30%, which is just going to make it a little bit lighter in color. So when we trace this, it's easier to see. Now we're going to watch a video that's going to give you the exact steps on how you're going to use the pen tool to trace this Batman logo.
Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to trace over a shape using the pen tool in Adobe Photoshop CC. I'm using this particular Batman logo because it allows us to go over a bunch of challenges here. We have curves, we have changing direction of curves, going back to straight lines and back to curves, again straight lines and so forth. So we have a lot of changes between curves, straight lines and changing directions. First and foremost, we're going to head to Layers panel, and I'm going to reduce the opacity of this Batman logo. I'm bringing it to 30%, and then I'm going to click on this lock icon to lock the layer. All right, now we're going to head to the toolbar and pick up the pen tool, or just simply press P. Let's take a look at the options bar. I have the option shape. I'm selecting no fill and red stroke with 4 points so you can see it well. We can start from anywhere, and basically you need to trace all around the image, so it doesn't matter where you start, you gotta always come back to the same place. I'm going to start from this top left corner. So click once to create the first point. Then I'm going to go here, click and drag. I'm happy with this curve. I'm going to let it go. Obviously, this is my third point, but see what happens. If I click and drag, it's going to go downward because the curve follows the handle. So this is what's going to happen. And I have no way of creating a good curvature here. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to press or hold Alt or Option on Mac and click on the second anchor point. That will get rid of the handle. So now I have total control of this curve. So I can click in here, click and drag here, and that would be my new curve. I'm going to do the same thing. Hold on Alt or Option, click here once on the third anchor point. That handle goes away, and we're going to continue this process. So once here, one more time, hold Alt click once here. Again, get rid of that one. And now we have a straight line. Obviously, that's not a challenge. So just one click creates a straight line. All right. So now we have a couple curves here. So we have to break it down. I'm going to break it down up to here. So let's click and drag. Again, I would like to have total control of the curve. So I'm going to hold Alt and click here. Then this particular place is quite challenging. I can actually break it down again, or I can experience just clicking and dragging. So let's see what happens. You see, if I click and drag, I'm not going to get a good curvature there. So I'm not going to be able to hit this one right. Instead, I'm going to break it down in two pieces. So click there, and then click and drag up. Maybe do it again. Click and drag up. All right, I'm happy with it. These are straight lines, so I'm just going to click, 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 click. And again, we have a choice of breaking this down to several pieces. So I'm going to click it and drag. Okay, I'm not happy with this. I'm going to press Control Z or Command Z to undo it. I'm going to try it one more time. Okay, all right, it's much better. There you go, click and drag. We're going to need to get rid of this anchor handle, so I'm going to hold Alt and click on the anchor point, and we're almost done. All I need is to click on the starting point to close the loop. So there you have it, and now we have a shape here, and we can change the color of it, we can change the fill, stroke, or whatever you want to do. So that basically is how to trace a picture or a shape or a path using the pen tool in Photoshop. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching.
Okay, so that's a really good example of how to use the pen tool, creating lines and curves to trace around an object. So I'll go ahead and show you my trace right here. So I have my settings, and I think I told you guys to make yours 10 points. I did that to make it a little bit thicker because I thought the line was too thin. If you want to make it 4.4 like he did in the video, that's fine. If it's too thin for you to see, try making this bigger though. I think 10 is about as big as you'd want it to make. I wouldn't make it any bigger than that. So now that I've created this trace using that red line all the way around my Batman symbol, if I click on my shape, I should be able to change the way that this shape now looks as far as colors and gradients. And this is how you are going to finish this Photoshop or this Photopea pen tool practice by filling this with your own color or pattern and then turning it in. So again, you can go here as long as you are clicked right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn the black layer off. So now I just have my red line. And I'm going to play around with different ways that I could fill this in. So the fill is right here. And I want to talk about gradients. Gradients are a lot of fun to use. And you can actually create custom gradients by double clicking right here. And that opens a gradient window. And what you can do now is you can double click on each of these colors. Right now it's got black and white. You can double click to pick a different color and hit OK. And now it goes from red to white instead of black to white. You can even double click over here and choose another color like yellow and hit OK. And now it's got a really cool gradient from red to yellow, and even has a little bit of orange in there. So you can play around with the gradient as an option for filling this in. You can, again, explore the pattern box where you can choose different patterns. You can see how that pattern filled the Batman in. And there's other patterns that you can choose from. Some are kind of interesting. All right. Or, of course, you can just pick a regular solid color if that's what you'd like to do. You can choose to have the color be solid, and then change the stroke to a different color. Put that back. So that's a Batman with a red fill and a purple stroke. And all you have to do to change this is to click on the shape layer that you created this trace on, and you can just go back and you can change it. So this is a really easy way to trace something and then also kind of customize the color. It doesn't matter like what it is, but if you trace this whole thing and make one shape out of it, you can always go back and change the color as long as it's a shape. All right, so I'm just kind of playing around. I think I'm gonna give it this blue. You know what? I really liked that gradient. That's kind of cool, that blue line and that red to yellow gradient. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and turn that in. So we already named our file, Batman, or Mrs. Wade, Batman was mine. Yours is gonna be your name, Batman. So we're gonna go ahead and click File. We're gonna save as a PSD like we always do. It's gonna download. Gonna go ahead and save it or export it as a JPEG because it's just a good idea to have a JPEG file as well. Hit save, and that's gonna download. Now I'm gonna show you how we're gonna turn this in on Google Classroom. So here's what the assignment should look like for you when you click on View Assignment. You have the file that you can copy onto Photopea. You have my example. You're going to have the video. You're going to have the link to Photopea as always. And when you've saved your work and you're ready to turn it in, you're going to click Add or Create. Mine was saved to my computer, so I'm going to click File. If you're using a Chromebook, you would click on Google Drive because that's where your Chromebook saves all of your files. All right. I'm going to select from my device because that's where I just saved it. And since I just saved it, it should be located in the downloads because that's where my computer automatically saves things that I just downloaded. And here it is. And then we're going to click Upload. And then once the little preview picture appears right there, you can go ahead and hit Submit. Mine just says Resubmit because I already turned it in and then unturned it in so I could show you. Yours would say Turn In or Submit. So we're going to click on that. Make sure everything looks good and click Turn In. And you're done. So the pen tool is a little difficult. It can take some practice to get used to using it. A lot of you on the question of which tool do you think will be most difficult to learn in Photopea or Photoshop, you guys said it was the pen tool. So this is why we're focusing on the pen tool right now, making sure you guys have a chance to practice it and get really comfortable using it because we're going to be using it a lot for our next project. So again, let me know if you have any questions and have fun.